Hey everyone, I'm Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, and here we have another discussion video. Today we're going to talk more about the psychology of Nintendo, and then we're going to get into Zelda. And here to talk with me a little bit is Matt. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and sort of go over what you do on your own YouTube channel.
Sure. Okay. My name is Matt. My YouTube channel is TruthSeeker182. It is an honor to be here, by the way. Jesse, thank you for having me on your channel. I truly appreciate it. My channel basically focuses on, it's not about Zelda as much as I love the Zelda franchise. It mostly focuses on fitness and science and philosophy and bodybuilding and those types of things. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But I just came over here because I needed to talk about The Legend of Zelda. Let me just state this right off the bat that this is my favorite video game franchise of all time. Make no mistake, my friends. This game has changed. These games have changed my life in more than one regard, and I just love them. And I'm honored to actually have the privilege to talk to you guys today about it. So, essentially, what I wanted to speak to you about is Nintendo's behavior and how things have been playing out since 2005. I've been doing research since about 2005 for the past couple weeks. I've been going about looking on different articles on the way Nintendo has released information about Skyward Sword and also Zelda Wii U, which is going to be the main topic today. But before I do talk about that, I kind of want to talk about the psychological perspective and the psychological aspects of art. So, whether you love music, movies, video games, architecture, any kind of art, any kind of medium, it's not so much that you love that three-dimensional object. It's actually, your love actually stems from the person's mind that created it. Think about that for a little bit. Instead of just loving a video game or a song or a movie, think about the people, the brains that actually created it, the neurons that came up with the idea and the thought. That's really what we are appreciating. And when we play with these things, when we interact with these mediums, we are actually just uh, interacting with an extension of the person's thought and their minds. So just have that opinion when you go in that perspective when you interact with art from now on. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you guys can see that point of view. So, speaking on The Legend of Zelda, I think this game for Wii U, I think it's going to be coming out December this year, 2015, which means it has to be finished by November because it's going to take about a month for them to actually print the copies and print the games, right? So that means, you guys, they have 9 months left to complete this game, and they've been working on it for years, okay? Before we go into the timeline of 2005 up to 2015, I wanted to talk to you specifically, Jesse, and you guys down in the comments down below about this one topic. Other companies have said that they would like to work with Nintendo on the Zelda franchise. I'm not sure if it was Square Enix or if it was the people who finished Xenoblade Chronicles. They stated in an article that they would love to work with Nintendo, but there hasn't been any information about that. So what do you think, Jesse? Do you think that that's a possibility that other companies could eventually work with Nintendo on building a Zelda game? Because I know Capcom has in the past.
Yeah, my thoughts on that are we've seen Capcom create standalone Zelda games without too much help from Nintendo in the past, and they turned out well. I believe it was Minish Cap and then Four Swords. Lately, we've seen Nintendo sort of outsourcing to second-party companies that they own, like Grezzo, and they've sort of loaned the franchise to the creators of Dynasty Warriors to make Hyrule Warriors. So I think Nintendo allowing a third-party company to create their own Zelda game is becoming more and more likely, because used to you would only have to play a Nintendo game on a Nintendo console, but now they're starting to become a third-party developer themselves by placing games on mobile phones. Their deal with DNA, they're sort of this is the first time that they're actually putting their games on something that's not Nintendo branded. And with that, the new president and even their old president, before he passed away, mentioned that they were trying to expand beyond just video games. They're trying to put a large focus on toys and other things. And I think on this expanse, you may see certain developers trying to work on it, because as you were saying, there are certain developers that have mentioned that they would love to work with the Zelda franchise, and while I don't think it's something that could happen soon, I think within the next 5 years we may see 2 or even 3 games created by other people. Maybe not home console games like big titles like Zelda Wii U, but I think there will definitely be another crossover game, sort of like Hyrule Warriors, maybe a sequel to that, and there'll probably be some sort of mobile game. Not necessarily for cell phone, but for the handheld part of the 3DS or the NX. I think something like that is more likely, but it'll be interesting to see what someone outside of Nintendo that hasn't been working on the Zelda series will be able to bring to it with an original Zelda game.
Exactly. I agree 100% with what you said, because if you look at any given situation, any given problem, Nintendo's only looking at it from one perspective, from their perspective. Having other people, third parties come in to see it from different angles and to come up with different ideas, I think that in the end, as long as they pick the right people, it could end up being beneficial for the entire franchise. Absolutely. So, getting in a little bit into the timeline that I was talking about, really quick, in psychology, you guys, that's what I have my degree in. My bachelor's degree is in psychology. So when you look at any organism or any human being, you can pretty much only observe their behavior. And you look at their behavior for a certain period of time. And given the actions that they do in that period of time, you can kind of predict and kind of say or have a general idea on what they're going to do later in the future, kind of see what their actions might entail down the road. So that's why I kind of went back. I've been doing my research for a few weeks on going back in Nintendo's timeline on how they've released information to kind of predict on what's happening with Zelda Wii U, because in my opinion, there's been a lack of transparency, not only with Nintendo, but the entire gaming community, the gaming developers. But I'm going to focus specifically on Nintendo themselves. Why are they being so secretive? I don't know. I think truly there might be something not so good going on in the background, because secrecy is okay. I'm all for secrecy with keeping your secrets and keeping things close to the chest. But in my opinion, with Zelda Wii U, and as I'll hopefully lay out for you guys here in the video, it's a little too secretive. There's too much of a lack of information here for it to be beneficial for the company. So it all starts back in 2005, you guys, if you would believe this. E3 2005, Mr. Iwata confirmed when he was talking about the Nintendo Revolution, which later became the Nintendo Wii, I believe the next year in 2006. He confirmed that both Zelda and Mario games were already in development at E3 2005. And guess what? Skyward Sword didn't come out till 6.5 years later in, I think, November 2011. Okay, so could you imagine all that development time since 2005? Then the next thing goes on. Fast forward 2 years to 2007. This is from the Zelda Wiki. Mr. Onuma was asked if Twilight Princess was going to be the only Zelda title for the Wii, which he replied, "I can't say, but I guess for now, maybe." Then later, at E3 in 2007, Onuma began to give details on the soon-to-be-released Zelda title, Phantom Hourglass. But then, in his excitement, he also released a little bit about the next Zelda game, which turned out to be Skyward Sword, which he was kind of stopped by Mr. Miyamoto from giving away too much information. He kind of just leaked that it was going to be a one-to-one sword gameplay. Okay, so we already started to get information about Skyward Sword in 2007. And keep in mind in the back of your head about Zelda Wii U this entire time, because we have next to no information about the game. So then in 2008, fast forward another year, it was confirmed that Skyward Sword was not the only game that was in development at the time. Also, Spirit Tracks was in development for the Nintendo DS by a separate team, which kind of harkens back to what just happened last year with Triforce Heroes. You see how there's kind of a pattern here? That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to expose to you guys. Now, here's where we get to the really good stuff. E3 Roundtable 2009, my friends. Mr. Miyamoto disclosed that Skyward Sword would be announced, the next Zelda game would be announced at E3 2010, a year later, and artwork was shown. Do you guys remember that artwork? It was just a picture of Link. It had no title, nothing. It was just a picture of Link, and it had Fi on his back where the Master Sword would be. And he was questioned about what that girl meant, and all he stated was that there's a a lack of a sword in the artwork. Mr. Miyamoto just wanted to point out that Link did not have a sword. So Jesse, like, could you imagine 2 years ago if we got a concept art of the Zelda Wii? And you guys down below comment, could you guys imagine if we actually had a concept art of Zelda Wii U that was official from Nintendo, just a picture, a single picture? Here we are in 2016 and we still don't have a single image from them. Could you imagine how that would be, the speculation that we would have?
Yeah, it would certainly drive a lot of fans crazy because every like most people that bought a Wii U, I'm just going to say bought the Wii U so they could play Zelda Wii U. You buy, I think you buy the Nintendo Wii U and you play Mario, but you don't buy it to play Mario. You buy it to play Zelda, but you just play Mario in the meantime. So everyone that bought their $350, $300 console, however much you paid for it, they're still waiting for that Zelda game. And to just have as little information as we have after being in development for so long, we've seen a couple of trailers, but we've not really been shown too much, just Hyrule filled. And the first thing they showed off was a pre-rendered cutscene that could end up not being in the game. After the delay happened, some things could have been changed, some things could have been added. Who knows if that monster that's chasing Link is even still in the game. So what do we really know about the game?
I agree. So here we go again. Let's fast forward, guys, okay? Another year goes by. Now, E3 2010. 18 months before Skyward Sword is released. This is what happens. Mr. Miyamoto goes on stage. He announces the name of the game. Skyward Sword. We now know the name of the game. Like I said, 18 months, a year and a half before the game actually came out. You think that was enough information? That would have, for Zelda Wii U, that would have been more than enough for us. But no, they went a step further. We also got a 15-minute gameplay demo on stage by Mr. Miyamoto himself for Skyward Sword. So let's track to the future, guys. For Zelda Wii U, you know what that means? Let's predict. Like I said, the game will come out in December, the end of this year. Rewind 18 months. That would have been E3 2015, about 7 months ago. More than that. Could you imagine, once again, Jesse, and comment down below, guys, if we got a 15-minute gameplay demo of Zelda Wii U, or if we actually just got a name of the game? We have none of it. None. What do you think?
Right.
How awesome would that have been?
I think that would be everyone's dream come true. But again, I think it's just where... I'm not sure if Skyward Sword was delayed or not. I can't really remember.
It was supposed to come out early 2011, Anuma said.
Right. So with Zelda Wii U, with it being delayed, this again goes to... if you remember, at New York Comic Con, I forgot which year, they mentioned that they had a trailer that they were going to show off, but then at the last minute decided not to for Zelda Wii U. What I'm thinking is maybe that trailer had some of the stuff that they were excited about, so they used it in the trailer, but then at the last minute, maybe a week or two before, a little while after they made the trailer, but before Comic-Con, perhaps that's when they started to realize, okay, we need to change the game up to make it a little bit more presentable or to make it a little bit more fun. And some of the things they took out were some of the stuff that was in that original trailer that they were going to show off. And because the game was delayed and some stuff was removed, maybe the stuff they had in the trailer wouldn't have appeared in the main game, so that's why they didn't show it off. And I think it sort of goes with that, where it's been in development for so long, it's been delayed for a year. Like maybe they weren't so sure on what exactly they wanted to show off, so that's why every single time we've seen the game so far, it's just been I think the first trailer was only a minute,
yep.
And then the second trailer,
about 4.
Yeah, it was 4 minutes, and then it was even off-screen footage,
and then we got 12 seconds.
Yeah, so and then the most that we've seen of the game was from off-screen footage. Yep. So they wanted to show you what the game was like, but they didn't want to give you a full HD trailer to let you see, pick out all the little details. They wanted to keep it sort of in the background to where you can see that it's there, it's working, it's running, but maybe there was stuff still in that version that they didn't really want to show off. So they were trying to keep it less noticeable, if that makes sense.
True.
And I think that's why, because maybe at the point to where it lines up with Skyward Sword and then they showed the 14 minutes of gameplay on stage, maybe up until recently they didn't really know what they wanted the main focus of the game to be. Obviously it's going to have dungeons, items, weapons and stuff, but maybe they didn't have that one thing to make it unique. Like Majora's Masks had all the different mask elements. Twilight Princess had you visiting the Twilight Realm, turning into a wolf. Skyward Sword had a focus on motion controls. Wind Waker had a focus on the ocean. Maybe in this game they didn't have that big thing to focus on that set it apart from the other Zelda titles. And with nothing to show to say this is how this game's different, aside from it being an open world, perhaps that's why they haven't really shown us that much, because maybe they didn't really know what they wanted to make with the game, which is again why it was led to it being delayed. Yeah, a little long of an answer there.
No, it's all good. Please, I want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your thoughts. Absolutely.
Right.